I'm going to go back to trig functions a little bit here. I'm getting inquiries on this. So I'm going to go through and demo a few things. The first thing is you can use any one of the functions and project them in price and time. Let me bring that trig function chart back in first. Here's that chart. What we're looking at the radius of the circle. This vector is going to be our market swing. I'm going to use an upswing, but you can do this with upswings or downswings. And you can take any of the properties that you see here and project them forward. So I'm going to just take the intraday chart, the 4-minute chart. I'm going to come off the low this morning, which was over here at about 9:30 right at the open. And I marked that first impulse push up with the red trend line there. I also used the ruler tool. It's telling me that it's a 5-bar move and it's 10.25 points on the price range. So what I'm going to do is just use the SOHCAHTOA formula. I'm going to take the opposite side of the angle, which is the price axis, the y-axis, and that's my 10.25 points on the range. And I'm going to divide that by the adjacent side, which is the x-axis or the time axis, which is 5 bars. So when I take the opposite and divide it by the adjacent, that gives me 2.05, and that is the tangent of what that angle is. So I can plug in the angle, or plug in the tangent in a calculator to get the angle, or I can use an online trig calculator or tangent calculator. You can find these all over the web. But I'm going to bring in a tangent table just to show it. So here's a tangent table. So a 2.05 tangent is a 64-degree angle. So what I'm looking at, that first initial swing is a 64-degree angle. Now I'm going to mark that with an angle tool and show a few things that can be done with the angles. All right, here's my first angle plot. And you can see it's a 64-degree angle, and that is in alignment with that swing. Okay, so that's not going to help us on its own right there with the way that is, but we can do some things to find some support angles off of that. That gives us, the first thing we can do is take half of the 64, which is a 32, and plot this, the 32-degree angle, and that is the initial support on the first reaction back down. Price action bounce up, it breaks the angle on the next try, comes back up, and that angle becomes a resistance point. Now we can take half that angle again, which is our 16-degree angle right here, and that becomes the angle of support for this move, and we bang off of it 4 different times, and it's still holding in the current time period. There's another little tweak we can do to get a different look at this, and that is just to change the scaling on the angle. I'm going to alter the price scale and get a little bit of an adjustment. Now I'm multiplying the price scale times 10, just basically floating the decimal, and I'm getting a 64-degree angle here on a different scaling, and that is giving me this exact low here, first time that angle was touched. When this upper second angle here was breached, it went right to that angle, then back regained the second angle, and it's been holding that since. So that is a way to get the support angles in any time frame when using this trig functions to find the angle. So in this video, I'm just going to take a look at the angle. Maybe I'll come back and do videos and look at the different functions and show how to apply some of those things. So I'm going to add an angle before I close out, a downward angle, and show something with this. Now I measured this swing down right here from this high to this low, and that was 4 bars and 14 1/4 price range. Doing the opposite over the adjacent, it gave me a tangent of 0.28, which is a 16-degree angle. So plotting a 16-degree angle down gives me this look. But now I can also do something else with that. I can also take that angle to the upside off of the flat horizontal axis, and instead of going 16 degrees down, I can go up 16 degrees off of that x-axis. So there it is. The 16's not doing much there because we haven't traded that high yet. But if I take that angle and cut it in half and turn it into a 1/2, it'll have a different look. When cutting that angle in half from 16 to 8, you can see the 8-degree angle here. Running that up, it catches the tops that are currently being made in the market here on the intraday 4-minute chart. So right there, that's just a few things that you can do with the angles. When you do these angles and base them off the price action and use the numbers that the market's giving you, you get very key support and resistance hits on these angles.